Tonight's meeting to order. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Where we get the flag?
Okay. There's one playing in the air, right? Okay, we're good there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was very good.
Imaginary flag.
Imaginary flag, but it shows on the YouTube. I saw that. Okay, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of the July 8th and July 19th meeting minutes?
So moved.
Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Second.
Oh, can I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Prine, absent. Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prisakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, so moved. Liz, first I would like to have a moment of silence. As we all know, we lost somebody very dear to us who used to sit right here and created my cheat sheet.
Oh, wow.
Which is Donna McGrogan, and she will be dearly missed. And Sarah's taken her place, and then it's like the same, but she used to nudge me a lot more. So Liz, can you please? Or will you please?
It is with a heavy heart that I share with you that this past week we sadly lost a dedicated servant to the people of Hyde Park, former town clerk Donna McGrogan. Donna passed away on August 6th after retiring as town clerk this past February. Donna was a pillar here in the town hall, a source of infinite knowledge and experience. The many elected officials and employees she had worked with will miss her dearly, as will the hundreds of residents she has helped over the 20 years she has served in the town clerk's office. Donna was a remarkable person who touched the lives of everyone she met. She was a loving parent, daughter, sibling, wife, and cherished member of our community. She was born and raised in Hyde Park and served as town clerk proudly and gratefully. Donna was a friend to many, always respectful, professional, and diplomatic. She worked hard and many times long hours. Many of us enjoyed our conversations with Donna discussing her creative hobbies and her Hyde Park stories of the past. But there was nothing she spoke more passionately about than her children and grandchildren. Our sincerest condolences to her mother Betty, her husband Tom, her daughter Beth, and son Van, and her brothers Alan and Drew. Donna has left us, but she will never be forgotten.
Thank you, Liz. That's heartening. I'd like to state that Donna's been wanting a Laserfiche since I first took office. She told me about it for years, how she wanted it, and we did just get the grant for it. So Sarah gets to take the reins and move forward there. Do any of the board members have any conflicts of interest regarding any of the items listed on tonight's meetings?
No. No.
Public comments on any of the resolutions in the town business tonight? I like yours, they're friendly.
Is this working? I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
My name's John Shaleppi. I'm from River Road here in Hyde Park. And I feel like, what do they call it, a bad penny that keeps on coming back. And so I haven't been here for a few months, but I was looking over your agendas over the months, and I haven't seen anything on the proposed sewer system for the Route 9 corridor. And I was wondering if any progress has been made, and I'm particularly concerned out of a certain urgency that it would be really good to make progress to get perhaps even a shovel-ready program. The federal funds for infrastructure could be unavailable at the end of this year. Depending on what happens in November, unallocated funds may no longer be available. And it would be good to set up a sewer system district, which would mean polling the individuals and taking a vote and being able to say that we have something that's close to shovel-ready, using whatever funds we have, and then building on it as we get further funds. I just wanted to say that, and hopefully...
Would you like a little update?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We have brought the system down. The district is formed. We're down to a cost of $13 million, which, as everybody knows, we have certain much in the kitty. Congressman Ryans, we're begging him for the $4.5 million to get us even closer. And we're going to start approaching the business owners up and down the center of Route 9, where we're going to run the main system, and that will be the district. We will have the ability in the future to branch off, because we went both ways on the highway, and we just need the feedback from them, and then there'll be public announcements, because they need to buy in for us to go forward. That's where we're at.
Thank you very much.
From 30 to 13.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to
Hold
go.
on. You guys are...
Oh.
Yeah, it's on. Just state your name and your where you reside at, please.
Okay. My name is George Golden, and I live in Quaker Hill Estates. And I've been there, I moved in there at 1973. So I'm talking about the property up on 563 North Quaker Road, okay? And I understand that there's a company up in Albany who owns that property. But I also understand that they are going to sell their property, the company. So I'm wondering if they're back in their taxes, what happens? Probably this year, they'll be 2 years back. And if this company goes belly up, what happens to that property there? Who's responsible for it? Okay? It is a problem pulling out. I mean, the county has been doing the grass so we can see the pull out because it's dangerous there, you know? But I'm also wondering how long, who's going to be responsible for the property if they pull out and go belly up? Is the town responsible for it? Or is the county responsible?
Yeah.
That'll end up back to the county.
It will. So we'll go back to the county again for an auction again, right? Public auction.
Correct.
All right. And then we still might be in the same problem again.
Unless we could buy it.
Well, you can. I mean, I'm hoping John would buy it, but
Well, between me, you, John, and Mr. back in there, who's been calling me a lot about it, we could buy it and knock it down.
well, you know, it is an eyesore. People who come in and they say, you know, where do you live? I say, well, the house that caught on fire on North Quaker Lane. You know what I mean? And you know, it's kind of hard to deal with it, you know. And like I said, we've been there since '73, and everybody tries to keep their property, you know, looking good. But I'm wondering, I know they're going to be back in taxes, and probably when the tax bill goes out in another few weeks, they'll probably be back 2 years.
Yeah, usually they end up. How many years of taxes are they back on?
I think right now there might be about 8,000 to 10,000 maybe right now.
Yeah, but
so.
how many
But is that
years?
1 year, 2 year, 3 year?
I think it might be 2 years. It'll be 2 years.
It's got to
yeah.
be 3 years.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, it's got to
3
be,
years.
I understand, it's got to be 3 years
Yeah.
before anyone can do anything. You know, and I understand there's asbestos in it, and that's why it was turned over to the county the first time. So, you know, I just hope we can resolve this problem, you know, it's just an eyesore there, you know, so.
I know George is right next door to it.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Joseph Cohen of the Hyde Park Medical Equipment Loan Closet to share about his organization. Thank you very much.
Do we need the phone?
You could use that.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
help.
Yeah.
I'm Joseph Cohen. This is Barry Wilhite and Tom Morris, and we're with the Hyde Park Medical Equipment Loan Closet. Now, some people know about us, but there are a great number of our community that don't. And we really want to get the word out because this is an excellent resource. And I'll tell you, Barry, Tom, and I have a passion to help those in need with free medical equipment. And you wonder, how are we doing free medical equipment? So, let me just, I have a small statement here. I'd like to read it. So, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to introduce our community to the Hyde Park Medical Equipment Loan Closet. It is a collaborative ministry between the United Methodist Church, the Church of Hyde, the Hyde Park Baptist Church, and Bridge Builders Community Church. Now, as far as the United Methodist Church of Hyde Park, our pastor, Kent Jackson, is right there. We have a vision. We have a vision for Hyde Park. A community transformed by a community transformed by the love of Christ, where every individual experiences that love through free access to essential medical resources. We envision a world where our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are intertwined, where our ministry serves as a tangible expression of God's compassion and care through the provision of free medical equipment and supplies. We aspire to alleviate suffering, restore dignity, and empower individuals to live life to the fullest, reflecting the image of Christ in our community. Now, Tom actually started this ministry. And Tom, can you tell him a little bit?
Yes, just briefly, 3.5 years ago, actually in January, I had become paralyzed. And,
Bring the mic up.
And I received help from the Hyde Park Baptist Church. They built a ramp for me. Friends came together and made my home adaptable. There was another community closet, MedEquip in Poughkeepsie, that gave me the equipment that I needed to get started. And I was just thinking of how I could be service to community and to my church. And when I returned the equipment, I thought, this is an opportunity. This is where I could work. And being paralyzed, I can relate to the people that come in, and they open up, they share not only their needs, but their hearts.
Mm-hmm. And we've had wonderful moments. We had one woman come in, and we had a specialty wheelchair for her that we really have never seen. And actually, it's this picture right here. Her brother is, he had a stroke, and he was in rehab. And they recommended this specialty wheelchair, but a brand new one was thousands of dollars. And we just happened to have one. And we cleaned that up, and we got the brakes working, and we got that thing working just fine. And that woman pulls out her checkbook and says, okay, so let's settle up. What do you need here? And we said, no, you don't understand. It's free. Oh, it's free. And as soon as she heard the word free, the tears just poured out of her eyes. The need for free medical equipment in our society today is desperate. It really is. Now, I want to say that we operate out of the Methodist Church. All are welcome. We welcome everyone. We offer assistance to everyone with care and compassion. We are able to offer these essential services thanks to the generous donations by our neighbors who donate gently used equipment. And that's how we survive. We take in donations of gently used equipment, we clean it up, we maintain it, and we help, and help individuals and families manage healthcare challenges without the added financial burden of purchasing new equipment. We've had some remarkable stories in the 2.5 years that we've been in business. We've had people donate to us power wheelchairs that cost $20,000. We've had that multiple times. In fact, right now, in the last few years, we have donated and given as gifts power wheelchairs, probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, because we have literally just taken it in and give it out. Now, we're here today because we want to create community awareness. Community awareness of who we are, where we are, how we can help our community. Number two, through the community awareness, we would like to broaden our ability to get the word out that we take in medical equipment. Because the more medical equipment we take in, the more effective we will be in servicing our community. Now, we also want to foster collaboration with other organizations in the city. How can we work together to love our community? And that's what we want. As long as we can better serve the residents of Hyde Park. Now, I'd love to give you a sense of what we've done just this year alone. We have given out 40 rollators. We have 31 wheelchairs out, 25 shower chairs, 26 transport chairs, 15 hospital beds we have given out. We have given out 7 Hoyer lifts, and if you don't know what those are the lifts you use to pick up a patient who cannot move. We've even collected a stair lift and given out a stair lift, which is one of those little things that slides up the side of the stairs with a chair. We have given out power to sit to stand lifts, which help people to stand up and move and sit down again. And also, we've worked with other organizations, especially one called AFIA, which sends medical equipment around the world. And we have literally stuffed a truck for them with medical equipment. I can't even tell you.
Actually, 4 truckloads.
Well, over the years, it's been 4 truckloads. Thousands of pounds. Yes. All because when my friend Tom was laying in the hospital bed, he woke up with a heart of thankfulness, and he wanted to give that back, and he wanted to serve his Savior. And so when I met Tom, I'm going to give you a quick story. I know this is a town hall meeting, but I'll tell you this. I first met Tom, and I was going to help him deliver a wheelchair. And we get to someone's house, and it's about 6 stairs and a landing. I said, Tom, I'll carry the wheelchair up. You can stay right here. He said, no, I've been talking to this lady, and maybe she wants in case she wants prayer. So my man gets out of his wheelchair and crawls up the steps just because a woman may need prayer. And I saw that, and I was in. I said, that's it. I'm in. I'm all in on this ministry. And Barry has the same story. Tom has been a wonderful leader. His heart for this community reflects the heart of God. And I just want to say thank you, Tom. And I hope that we can grow together, other organizations, we want to be able to provide medical equipment for those in need. And so, that's about all I have to say. And does anybody have any questions?
Since this is being recorded, do you want to give your contact information so people in the community will be able to receive it?
Well, our room is over at the United Methodist Church of Hyde Park, right across the street. 1 Church Street. And we have cards with our phone numbers on it, and that's pretty much how we contact people, with our phone numbers. So, honestly, my phone number is 845-392-2100. And if you want to call me about medical equipment, I'll pick up. How about you?
Mine is 845-532-4535.
Barry, you would?
Sure, 845-401-9814.
And we are ready to help as best we can. We don't have everything. We're growing slowly every day, but we try to help as best we can. So, yes?
I know a lady who passed away, and she had a chairlift. And it was in a raised ranch, so she had, it was actually 2 chairs. You come up the first section, turn, and then pick up the other chair. Do you have anybody who would disassemble that if you could get that?
We don't normally take chair lifts. We took one because it was a straight shot of about 5 steps. Normally, something like that, you need a professional to lay it out right according to the steps.
It's like 2 sections.
Yeah.
It goes up in the basement and then turns.
Yeah, we primarily stick to medical equipment. And this is an interesting story, just real quick. This young man is from the Dominican Republic. Somebody came into our closet. They needed equipment. We gave it to them. And they had a little relative who was using, I saw a video, the poor little guy was using some kind of stick thing to get around with. He's disabled. And Tom found a juvenile-sized rollator, and this woman mailed it all the way down there for that young man. And you can see he is happy as can be. So I guess we're an international ministry. There we go. All right. I think that's about it. All right. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I actually went to their shop, and I had a hard time finding it. I didn't realize it was right across the street. I walked around that building, and then all of a sudden I go, oh, he's waving. That must be the guy I'm here to see. I went in there, and it's wonderful what they're doing. They have wonderful equipment. It's not beat up, and these gentlemen here are the ones that actually deliver it. They load trucks, and they give their heart and soul into what their ministry is. And I applaud you on what you do, without a doubt.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I wish I had that when I bought my wife's thing for her knee surgery. I'm donating it back. Okay, Michael Dupree, our planning board chair. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
I wish you would attend more, and then I'll attend more of yours.
Michael, why don't you come up and sit there at the table?
Oh, it's odd to be on that table, isn't it?
It's different.
Yes, sir.
So we wanted to have you give us a little, educate us a little bit on the natural resource inventory booklet. Bring us up to speed, how we started, how we got there, and what we need to do moving forward.
So the Conservation Advisory Council was given a grant with some match that they came up with the money for to undertake this. It was a joint project with 2 other communities. Rhinebeck was included, and I was part of it as well as we went through. This was, as you know, there's very many lists of our resources in here, including wetlands, you name it. So the town, I believe, needs to adopt this. Kyle would know more, Attorney Barnett would know more, sorry about that. I believe that once you adopt it, then we can use it because it can also be part of more grant applications. The county has the same one as well. Not the same one, but it embraces more around the county. They have a new mapping tool, research tool. So one of the things that these are good for is for bigger projects where they have planners, engineers, lawyers, et cetera, they will come through and look at things like this when they're online for the town to say, are there areas, particularly say for subdivisions, are there areas we need to avoid? So this gives you one more tool to say, oh, this is a wetland area, this area looks like it's not suitable, but this maybe would be. It's a way for them to save money in terms of looking at a parcel to say, should I try to develop this? It's not like, you still need to go out in the field, like the planning board does. When there's proposals, we go and take a look at a site visit, or we walk the site. It's for subdivision as well. One of the things we learned my first year on the planning board was there was a proposal for, it's now 3 single-family houses, but it's off South Cross Road, big parcel. And when we walked around, we had them flag certain housing lots, and a house was where a seeping spring was coming up, bubbling. When I told the engineer what we'd seen, he said, that's not true. And I went, come back out there. So we did. Had we seen something like this, we would have probably known about that in advance, but we didn't. And surveys can miss these things as well. So Ann Dexter, Vice Chair Dexter and I think are the only 2 left, but we went through a really long 6-month course. This is where the town adopted the critical environmental area, known as Hogback Hill. But when we were looking at plans, one of the things they told us was how to look at where you can anticipate streams coming, because you're going to have zigzags in the contours. And sure enough, when we've gone out, we see them. So these are areas that now are identified and through the resource map. And again, this can also be used for the town getting grants for, say, environmental conservation. This probably could be used, I believe you guys applied for money to redo the comprehensive plan. Having something like this also can be a valid part of it. But I believe it needs to be adopted. Once it's adopted, then it would go on the town's website, and we'd all be able to refer to it. We haven't had a lot of subdivision proposals, I think because it's so expensive right now to develop houses. And as I tell applicants, and I hate saying this, but it's the truth, when you have a town as old as Hyde Park, the land that's the most easily developed was developed a long time ago. So what we have left really is a lot of land that has more environmental constraints. And this just sort of underscores what some of those constraints can be. It doesn't mean that they can't be developed. It just lets you have a better idea of what you're going to encounter when you get the land itself. And that to me is business friendly, because you're allowing people to in advance say, oh, there might be problems with this, etc. For example, the Billafield property, the huge parcel that it is, it wasn't, when the proposal went out from the county to seek investors to develop it, it said 2 things. One, that they could hook into the city and town of Poughkeepsie's joint sewer system, which no one from the county had asked them because they didn't have capacity. But also, there was a golf course proposed in the very rear because it looked like it could be a golf course, but as it turns out, you can tell it now, but no one had mapped or updated the states, the DEC regulated wetlands, and it was acknowledged that they were all linked back there, so you can't really develop that area. That's why it's open space. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't have bought it had they known, but at the same time, you wouldn't have gone to the waste of time of hiring people to design a golf course and actually propose it, etc. Again, these things can help save money. So that's one of the reasons why I worked on it, but it's also they needed someone from the planning board and nobody else would volunteer at the time. That's why I also did it. At any rate, it's an object for the town to have and possess, as I said, and it would become part basically of our zoning, similar to the Greenway Compact or anything else we have that's been adopted by the town.
And how was all the information compiled? How did you acquire all the information, and who put it together, and how did that...
Working with county planning. They have resources there that we were able to utilize. And then it was paid for, again, by grant monies as well as from a donor to provide the match. And we met regularly. There were times when we diverged. Hyde Park did its own and Rhinebeck did its own. But we also did a lot of collaboration on it because the county was kind of overseeing this for us, and they were the ones who, it was more efficient for them to meet with both groups at the same time. So, and both results were done and finished, etc. A while back, actually. But now it's all bound and looking pretty, as you see. Mm-hmm. So, again, Attorney Barnett would know better, but I believe you have to formally adopt it so it becomes part of our zoning, as I said, similar to Greenway. Probably no more. I'm not putting you on the line either.
No, no, not
Don't
at
answer
all.
right now if you don't want to.
No, well, we would. I mean, obviously, we'd have to, and I also think we'd have to hold a public hearing on it. So, yeah, there's a formal process we'd have to go through. Prepare a resolution, set up the public hearing, and, go forward from there.
And the Conservation Advisory Council, I'm sure would be happy to, for a public hearing, do a presentation more elaborate than what I did, because they were more involved than me. I was the planning board person, always sort of advised them as to what we would use as tools, and also what the development community would like to use as tools as well. Now, some of this, again, is now on DC Planning's website, and it's got interactive tools, but it still will refer you back to these because the website or the interactive site doesn't have the level of detail that we have here. The one thing I can tell you is we were trying to look at water intake areas, and the one thing we did not include in here is where the water intake is precisely for Hyde Park water. We decided it was better not to have that documented and available in case of terrorism. And I'm not joking, this is really a discussion on our part. Sad to think of it this time, but that was part of our consideration. So, any other questions?
So what I'm doing is preparing to get every board member a copy of the book. Take a look at it. I'll get it as soon as Cecilia gets back. We'll get it handed out to everybody. I want everybody to look at it and read through it so that we can move forward.
Your eyes will glaze over, I'm going to admit, sometimes. So if you try to read everything...
I have a copy of it. And believe me, Richard's been all over me. Keep reading it, and he's explaining it to me, and I'm like, okay.
It's basically
It's a
unbreaking a
lot
series
of
of data
information.
layers down so that you could turn off and on with the tool from the DC Planning. So it's a paperback version, and this is easier for Tad to refer to as well.
Right.
When we're looking. So, but it basically it updates what we know about wetlands. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the DEC is changing the size of wetlands it regulates. It's going down substantially. Right now it's been 12.3 acres or more is regulated by the DEC. This is going to go down to about 4 for wetlands of unusual value, and that's going to be determined. This is going to make it harder to develop in our state. I have to explain that to people, but you're going to have to do testing for salamander eggs and some other things. To see if it's of a certain value, conservation value. So this sort of this would help with that because we're going to have to look at different size wetlands, and they're all in here now. So even temporary seasonal wetlands are included in there, listed as seasonal. So, because this is the time to comment, I think, is over now. The DEC is compiling all the responses, and they'll promulgate the rule, and I assume it'll be passed. I don't even know if what it requires, but yeah, they're getting stricter on what wetlands they regulate. So this will be a handy map for developers as well for that.
Yeah, it's
And
going to
for
also
us.
help with our $200,000 grant for the Falk Hill, which we know that because Richard made that very clear.
But it does
He's
help.
provided
because-
information,
yeah.
so we don't spend the $200,000 and double dip. You know, there's a lot of information in there that we can use for that also.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of information.
Yes, because this is covering both upland and downstream, both ways where the water goes, so that does help, particularly for that grant.
Yes.
And I know that grant
especially
is
with
near
the
dear to somebody's
comprehensive
heart over there.
So there's a lot of towns that have adopted this, and a couple towns that we worked in as well. Town of Washington has it, town of Poughkeepsie. It's a resource that has been proved useful to a lot of towns within the county. It would be a type 2 action,
Yep.
so it would be fairly
It's
straightforward.
easy, it's easy.
Yep.
Okay.
And I don't think you're going to have a lot of people commenting. I just want to also add to everybody, we passed the grounded, the retail cannabis dispensary, as you know, at our last meeting. At the public hearing, I was waiting for the flood and horde of people to come out and speak, and
You had one come for...
to speak in favor of it, who's a neighbor. And I looked down and I thought, uh-oh, she's a neighbor. And then she was like, I can't wait for it, bring it on.
Yeah, yeah.
Hallelujah, because we usually get complaints, not compliments, so that was nice. And no traffic issues, which I would have had to explain to everybody. The DOT's already weighed in, there's no more improvements that are required for a 4-lane highway right there for it. So, but
Yeah.
they'll be before you for the special use permit. You got our recommendation. It's a sort of soft recommendation because I didn't want to go into all the details because you're making the findings for the special use permit that you need to find.
Correct.
But I did
We
allude
waited
to
for
traffic.
yours.
I did allude to traffic in there as well.
Very good.
attention. Do you want to ask him about the text amendment while he's here? Or?
No, you can ask him. What's it about the text amendment for
Right. For the
NRI?
Yes.
Michael, would you want to elaborate on the text amendment for the NRI while you're here?
The new one or the original?
Well, it's my understanding the original was not something that there was a meeting of the minds on, so now there's a new one, I guess, that's going to be going up for review. So perhaps maybe just makes sense to move on to the new one at this point.
Thank you. The old one was, the original text was problematic for us because it was really talking about lodging facilities in general, and they're allowed in other districts, and so I kind of got freaked out thinking about the possibility of having all these permanent, not permanent homes, but more, not traditional motel lodging facilities everywhere around the area. So we worked with the applicants Thursday and Friday, Michael, I believe. And then Saturday, Michael sent me the final language, and I made a little change. He's made a little change, but that's what's in the new one. So the new one, I'm not going to say it creates a new use, but it creates a separate use for a lodging facility villa, which means then that since not lodging facility is defined as transient in our code, and Tad, the way the code works is if there's not a definition, she first has to look at building code, and then she looks at Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So building code gave her some guidance, and the applicants sort of proposed as well a time in the FEAF, or full environmental assessment form for the audience, that was 35% of the year, but then their financiers balked at that. So we needed to somehow get the word transient out of it. So for this new definition, it creates, as I said, a lodging facility villa. It's not necessarily, it's not the same as lodging facility, that it's not defined as transient, so it means that the owners then can use the site longer, but it also guarantees that when they're not using it, it goes into the rental pool. So this was a lot of back and forth with the applicant, but I think we're all satisfied with the language. Bonnie, our planner, weighed in on it as well. And talking to Mr. Zarin just now, it appears that he's taken the next step and proposed the law so that you would circulate the local, just like you did with the cannabis dispensary, it's you circulate it to planning, county planning, and the neighboring communities, and then set a public hearing, which I think if you're opening that tonight, you can just continue because it's a, I'm not sure who's here to speak about it, but if they haven't had a chance to look at the new zoning, they need to have another opportunity to look at it. So, but otherwise, this is a much more simplified process now, and when it comes back to you, I'm thinking we're going to be making a positive recommendation. And we'll also do an expedited review. I'm not going to take 30 days on this the second time. Anybody have any questions?
What mechanisms are going to be put in place for TAD to enforce? That's going to be a problem that we're going to have. I could foresee that.
The answer to that would be something that Mr. Zarin could answer better than me, but they are going to keep records, and TAD is going to have the availability, I believe, is the way we discussed it. But enforcement for something like this is difficult no matter if there's a maximum of days imposed or not. It really is. TAD can't be over there every day looking, but at the same time, the hotel doesn't make its income unless it is being rented. I mean, they're splitting the rent between the owner and the hotels, the management company. So it behooves the hotel as an operator to have higher income, because once the guys bought it, they're not paying, a nightly fee to stay there. So it behooves them to go ahead and keep it in the rental pool as much as possible. We haven't confirmed exactly what the tax ramifications are unless Michael has, because the assessor was gone. We're trying to figure out how she would assess it, because it's a little different than just an income property, since it can be occupied 35% of the year without any income coming off of it. And we don't think that if the owner stays over 60 days, you wouldn't get any more occupancy tax on it. But we also don't know if owners would intend to stay for 2 months at a time or not. It's possible. The Hudson Valley is a great place to stay in the summer and the fall, so it's possible. But generally speaking, as Michael's explained it, Mr. Zarin explained it to us, and also kind of checking with the hospitality industry information that's available, more and more hospitality institutions or hotels are going to this because it has the risk for them. After COVID, when you sit there with empty rooms and you're paying the mortgage, it's not fun. So you would basically have a higher income base in the first place because they're sold. So you get your money in advance, and then plus your rental income stream, but the owners are also getting it. So, and for the most part, owners don't want to stay in one place from what we can tell. they don't treat it as a full second home. Some from Manhattan may treat it as a second home that they can come to and have food and everything else available for them, et cetera, which would be pretty nice when taking care of your landscaping, all that. But others will more likely keep it in the rental pool and just come in here occasionally. While there's a lot to do here, 2 months is a long stretch of time for someone to be staying in rooms that are also not as large as what a house room would be. This is still a hotel villa, so it's not as though you're going to pack your trunks and bring furniture, all that kind of stuff in there. Everything's pre-furnished, all that. So, we stay at Four Seasons in Anguilla in the Caribbean, and not only they used to have these cabanas when you go to the main hotel that were available for sale. Those have long been sold, and now they've sold every room in the hotel, every room, which is unusual to me. I didn't realize that's how far that was going, but it's also with the Caribbean hurricanes you get, may have times where there's not any occupancy, and so they're spreading the risk this way. So there's also, I think it's called Wildflower Farm. There's a hotel and conference center over in, I think it's Orange County. Yes, it's where Congressman Ryan had his swearing in. It's over there, and it's got the only main hotel part of it. This has some rooms in the main hotel. The only part there is the restaurant and the party room for weddings and stuff like that. Otherwise, everything is a standalone villa. It's on a much bigger acreage, and part of their experience is you pick berries and pick your own food for that night to be cooked for you, etc. I don't know how it's doing, but it was gangbusters at first. It's got a high price point, though, and you're kind of in the middle of nowhere over there. So, but there is examples, in other words, of this already existing that have been approved by other towns. And those units, as I understand it, are also sold out, or leased, I should say, out to owners. So we worked out the details, in other words, and Michael will give you more of the details when he stands up here to speak. But I think we're all at a good place. Our attorney and our planner are all okay with it. Tad is okay with it, which is also important, as you know.
That's what I was waiting for.
Al, which is a good thing. I mean, Tad actually, her idea of transient or for temporary stays was like basically 60 days max because of the occupancy tax thing that the county considers that then a permanent home. So she was kind of pegging it on that. But we're also trying to work with the applicant, which is just something we always do, as you know. So, and I think Mr. Zarin is satisfied now. He had a rough night on Wednesday night.
So do you think?
He just started smiling.
So do you think you have a meeting on the 20th or so?
We have a meeting a week from this Wednesday, 21st.
Okay, so you think that you are going to have it all hammered out?
If it's referred to us, I will get permission. I'll have a letter pre-written and get permission or authorization from my colleagues to submit over to you, lickety-split. I mean, you can't rush it any more than what I'm doing because the county also has 3 days to respond, as municipalities do.
No, I'm not trying to rush it, and that was one of the points I was getting at, is because, I mean, at 4:37 on Friday, we got the notification from Mike, and I want to make sure that we got all our bases covered. One question or concern that I want to circle back to is, how does this fit in with the educational clause or the educational projections that the property is supposed to be used for school and educational purposes?
So in the comprehensive plan, the purpose of the district is, it talks about economic development as well and harnessing the CIA for economic development. So I'm guessing I'm going to be arguing for the applicant, which Victoria, our attorney, hates when I do, but I believe it could be argued successfully that having more people there on the campus itself will increase the number of visitors, which then helps their students because part of the students' education is to wait on tables at the end, et cetera. And they have times during the year where they're basically begging for people to come. January is very slow for the restaurant classrooms there. So if they have an audience of individuals who can actually walk across the pedestrian bridge and reach the campus, then that would improve their students' educational experience, and it would also bring more money to the town because, of course, I don't know what the multiplier is anymore. The last time I looked, for the town of Hyde Park, if someone spent the night here, I believe they spent $175 on average more, like just by going to a restaurant, like say going to Capola's or Antonella's or wherever, maybe going to the drugstore to buy whatever your headache, something, whatever, but they spend more money if they stay here. So that would there's a multiplier effect, it's called, an ancillary effect, so that would help the town as well. But the school itself, they're the ones who wanted this. It was Tim Ryan who wanted it. They have a partnership with Cornell University, which operates a hotel management program, and so while this is staying on the tax rolls, it wouldn't surprise me if at some point they have students who might want to have internships there as well, the ones who are taking both restaurant and hotel management.
And could that scenario change from being on the tax rolls to off the tax rolls?
The Culinary Institute could try it, but if it's so, there would have to be other changes made as well, because this has been evaluated as being taxable all the way through. And I believe Mr. Zarin will confirm that.
So this is the difference. It's exactly.
Any other questions from me? Because he'll be able to supply more.
Yeah, no, we'll get both sides of the stories. I don't listen to the lawyers that often.
Opens the public hearing.
Sometimes the lawyers don't listen to us either, like I said last Wednesday. But we came to meeting the minds, as I said.
Anybody got any other questions for Michael? And then we'll bring,
That's exactly what it is. So you're referring it to,
before we bring Mike Zarin in?
you're referring it to the county.
Okay.
A pleasure as always to work with you. Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you very
day.
much, Michael. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yes, I did take a couple of arrows at that Wednesday meeting. Let's just say it was passionate.
Yeah, you do, because...
John, your question on the enforcement.
Hold on, I'm sorry, Mr. Zarin, 1 second. Sorry for the interruption. You do because, well, you scheduled the public hearing this evening, right, at the last meeting. So this is simply opening the public hearing pursuant to the notice. But that's also on the old language that was just discussed previously. So all this does is open the public hearing previously scheduled. This resolution will then keep the public hearing open until the September 9th meeting. That's correct. You do not close it. So, yes. Yep. So you're probably better off, you may want to, if you want to do that, we can do it after Mr. Zarin's done with his presentation, if the board so inclined. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to go through sort of the chronology and how we got here, but it sounds like a lot of the questions were already asked, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let me try to just address a couple of things that were raised. John, you raised the question of enforcement, obviously a good question. The resort facility manager, who will be managing all the leasehold villas. They do the design of the villas, they manage all the exterior, the landscaping, the infrastructure. We will have recorded leasehold covenants that will reflect the criteria from the zoning that are recorded, and one of the critical ones is that they must be used as primary residence. That's an IRS-specific criteria. It's based on a facts and circumstances test. So where do they bank? Where do their addresses on the tax returns? It's a whole list of indicia that the IRS uses for determining whether that people are using or occupying residences as primary. Though that information will be kept on file and available for the town's inspection, but the facility managers will be reviewing that and ensuring that. It also will be sub-ground leases, same ones, uniform between NRI and the leasehold owners, which will have the same terms. The criteria we try to augment more than the 65-35, working with the planning board. Not only must there be a primary residence, but this was a term that I ensured was in there, having met with you all and talked with you, shall be taxable as part of the lodging facility development. That's right, that'll be right in the zoning. and so they're not taxed as single-family residences. They also must be secondary or subordinate to the lodging facility in purpose and use, meaning that they can't just be standalone, single-family. They must be placed in the lodging facility rental program, which Michael mentioned is a critical part of the pro forma for these. They also have to be designed according to standards, transient residential standards, meaning that there are sprinklers in every leasehold. The upper floors, second floors have limitations on the amount of bedroom use, which is typical of sort of transient hotel use. So that's a couple of the criteria that we had worked out together with the planning board. So what we were hoping is that today you could open the public hearing now that you have the two responses to the referrals in hand. Frankly, if there's any other comments from the public, we'd like to hear that. If you're going to send it back for another referral, we'd like to know, and we could inspect some, we can revisit some of the provisions. Then, as you heard Michael mention, the planning board, I think, wants another look at it, and they'll get back to you with their recommendation. We also, the planning board asked for a proposed ordinance, so you saw that in your packet. We just took the language that we revised and put it into a proposed ordinance. We expanded the FEAF, which you'll all have in advance now, a month from your meeting on September 9th. You don't have to take any decisions tonight. Same thing as your last meeting. There's no approval, or we just ask that you send it back to them for a re-referral. And also, we prepared a secret technical memo that they asked for, and we provided you all with that data. What they wanted to know was, would the elimination of the 65-35 split, meaning that potentially an owner could use the leasehold villa for more than 35% of the time, would that change any environmental impacts that were studied as part of the project? Because now they can't use it full-time. They can't use it as permanent residence. That's that'll be in the code. So we prepared a technical secret memo that's in your packet. Before, you'll have an opportunity to look at that and review it before it comes back to you September 9th, before you make any determination. And we found that, in fact, there would be less traffic if someone used it as a single-family owner from 135 peak during peak hour. The fiscal would be the same because they'll be taxed at the same rate. You'll see in that memo, because we're making, I think it's important to just reiterate, which I think you all know, we are making absolutely no changes to the project by this zoning amendment. Same amount of leasehold units, same amount of programming, same location, same design, same model and structure, the way it's going to be done. It's just the only change here is the elimination of that the owners can use it for a maximum of 35% of the time. And we added criteria to make sure that it would be transient, taxable, and many of the criteria that we had agreed to and committed to, and we just wanted, those were added to the new zoning. So if there's anybody has any further questions?
So the CIA is the owners?
CIA owns the property. We are the landlord, NRI, for the leasehold. So our resort will enforce that. We are the ones that enter into the sublease. The CIA is the master owner of the property.
So what about this talk of interns wanting to do hotel hospitality over there.
There's going to be a
Is that going
significant,
to be then considered an education property?
yeah, there's going to be significant amount of programming, joint programming with the CIA. Both, the theme is going to be culinary. That's one of the attractions of this.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of use. But when you look at the zoning, in the zoning as permitted activities, in 2011, there was a hotel that was proposed for this property as part of it. So in the zoning, they did include hotel, inns, and so forth. And if you go to the comp plan, as Michael said, it's educational, but also the St. Andrews zoning district, which is the CIA district, was also in the comp plan meant to increase tourism, economic development, and the like. I mean, there'll be a lot of...
That zone remains taxable no matter how many students.
This part of the zoning, these leasehold units and the resort are going to be taxable as lodging, not single family, so it's higher tax rate.
Michael, for full transparency, would you mention about the pilot payment in lieu of taxes that you're looking for?
We are looking for a deviated pilot that'll still generate close to $1 million a year for the town, and over the term of the pilot, $16 million for the school district, without generating any school children or any cost to the school district. And then
Now, how can you say that? Because that was the question I had for you. How if somebody's here 35% of the time and 300 some days, if they're here 100 days a year and they have children, where are they going to go to school?
John, it's considered as a indicia of, that would be a violation of the primary residence. That would be utilizing it as a primary residence. That's one of the indicia of that in the IRS criteria and definition, is you don't use it as your permanent address, i.e. school.
No, I'm not saying a permanent address, but if it's a family who's coming from somewhere and spending a third of the time here, their kids got to be educated. If they have children, they need to go somewhere.
It would not be used, it would not fit the definition, it would violate the provisions of primary residence as termed.
I don't care what it violates. If you got children and they're here.
We would enforce it. Facility managers would say you are not permitted to include your children.
I don't think the school district would take the address as part, because it would be like you don't live here. They wouldn't be part of the district.
Yeah, but if they're spending 3 months out of the year here, I don't understand why. I mean, where's the student supposed to go to school in the interim?
Back at their permanent residence. That's the law, I think, of the school district, and it's the law we would enforce that. We have.
No, I get it, but I got to tell you, it's a tough sell. If you guys are talking to spending, charging somebody $2 million to $4 million for a villa, and they can only spend a certain amount of time here, and they can only do certain things. Man, I tell you, it's a tough sell. It isn't like we live in Hawaii or we're in the town of Hyde Park with.
John, we hear you. They would not finance it with a 35% cap, and that was not only the lender, that was also the brokers and the marketing people were telling us that. But they do say that, look, they will, as the primary residence is not a problem, and most people will want to offset a portion of their cost because it's so much by the rental. I mean, and Michael touched on it, that is the trend in hospitality. People may use it now for 127, they may use it for 150, but that's 200 days of rental they're going to want to offset their costs.
And back to the pilot, what are we talking at? What's the term of the pilot? How many years?
We're seeking 15, which is a 5-year deviation.
I just want to point one thing out. Just I don't know if it was. So the pilot, according to the technical memo by AKRF, all right, which includes the fiscal impact. The pilot projects to generate $1 million in non-tax property, non-exempt property revenues, but that's all in. So it breaks it down. So the town's portion would be $113,000 for the first year of the pilot. I don't know what the pilot looks like, so it's typical, your typical pilot, kind of goes like this. So in other words, the first year might be 113, the next year might be 150, the next year might be, it depends upon the percentage of the entire assessment that's being relieved by the payment in lieu of taxes. But according to what they've provided, at least for year one, that's what they claim the revenue would be for the first year to the town is $113,000 in tax revenue. I also will say this. The other thing to keep in mind, and we don't want to get too much into the weeds, the valuation, if it's valued as a lodging facility, presumably it would be valued based upon income generated, right? Because that's the way hotels are, but it's far more complicated than simply that, because hotels have FF&E, so there's a lot of other expenses that come out of hotels that come from revenue in terms of generating the actual value. How this thing would be valued, it sounds like it's a bit of a unique property. I don't know if it would qualify as a specialty, but that's a subject matter and a topic probably in and of itself.
This was an estimate that was done by the IDA based on some of the background of Bellafield, where they used, I think, a 29% rate. And
That's based on a $1.4 billion project over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yours is
they'd apply the same
200
rate
something
to our
thousand.
project
Yeah.
cost. Project cost here would be $254 million right up front. That's not over 5 phases. That is.
What's the total construction cost?
The total project cost will be about $254 million.
Overall, 254 million.
That's all in.
All in.
That's
And-
not what the pilot's for.
No.
So, Kyle, you're saying that in the first year that this kicks in, the town will only generate 113,000?
According to what AKRF says, the town would get 113, your fire district would get 103, your library gets 19. The lion's share goes to the school.
Which is
And
always
that
the
goes-
case.
Yeah, which is always the case, yeah. It's just, that's your typical tax dollar. Your resident, for every dollar that they spend on their tax bill, the majority of it goes to the county and the school, and then the smaller portions go to the town and the special districts.
For the purposes of this discussion, one of the advantages or benefits of possibly increasing the owner time that they use the villas is AKRF opined that you're probably going to get more secondary economic effects in the surrounding community. Because if they're there longer, they're not going to the restaurant every day, they're not cooking every day, they're going out more into the community.
Not the way you're explaining it. You're telling me the longer they stay there, the traffic decreases, so they're not coming in and out, they're staying there.
No, it decreases.
Got you.
You got me. We're going not into the weeds, we're going under the weeds.
So, Kyle, a note for you, above and beyond this parcel here, the adjoining parcel to the south is Diane Hall, right?
Yeah, John, we analyzed that in the new FEAF. So there's 2 parcels that are not on the CIA property. There's like a 1.3 acre parcel, which is part of the.
And whose piece is that, do you know?
It's part of the religious. I'm not pronouncing it right. Novate, the Novia, Noviate.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go,
It's
George.
part of the religious, and then I think the other one may be that it's discussed, John, in the FEAF
Yeah. So,
detail.
discussed or not, Kyle, what we're doing on this particular project in the SAD district, Diane Ho has a piece of property that joins to it. Would what we're doing for these people, would that diminish or have any burden on her property?
No, No, it wouldn't have any, it wouldn't have any burden on their property, it wouldn't affect their property at all. Whether it affects the value, I guess, is a question, but I don't know why they would care what the value of the property is. Because they're a religious organization, and they're totally exempt.
No, not the religious. Diane Ho is the ones that used to have the Ho bowling alleys.
Oh.
She has a piece of property there that goes all the way down to the river, and it's a nice piece. That's.
I can't tell you, I can't give you an opinion as to whether it would affect her actual value, the value of the land, but it wouldn't create any sort of a legal burden or anything like that.
Okay. Because I know that
John,
they keep saying.
whatever they could do before, they could have done these facilities before. They just would have had a 35% cap on the amount an owner could use a villa.
Yeah.
That's
No, I was
the
just
only
saying the
difference.
tax amendment or whatever we're doing to accommodate
It
you.
won't affect her property.
That's what I was getting at.
No.
Okay. Do you know when you did they did the circulation, if they got any response from them two particular property owners?
It went out by the town, I think.
Okay.
And they do notice that.
We good? Anybody?
So what you've got to do this evening is, as we discussed, you have to refer it back to the planning board. The draft resolution provides for that. You have to refer it to the county. And the draft resolution includes the requirement that you declare lead agency. And then also you noticed the public hearing on the original text amendment at last month's meeting to be open for this evening. You can open that public hearing tonight. And obviously, you're going to have to continue that public hearing until September, till you hear back from planning in the county. That's what the draft resolution provides. The board won't be taking any substantive actions on the text amendment this evening.
We just like to give you a hard time.
That's.
Planning board has all the fun, you know?
I've got so many arrows. There's no
Don't worry,
fun of my body.
We're gonna.
We know you're
We're
earning it,
gonna,
don't worry about it.
Put it in for
We
public.
can do it. Public comment.
Especially so you would open.
No.
First, you're going to open the public
No,
hearing.
we gotta do it now.
Okay, can I have a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prisakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Will the clerk read the public notice hearing?
Notice of public hearing. Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park shall hold a public hearing on Monday, August 12th, 2024 at 6:05 p.m. at the Roosevelt Fire Department, number 3, 830 Violet Avenue, Hyde Park, New York, regarding a petition from the NRI Hyde Park LLC to amend the Town of Hyde Park Town zoning code 108-34.1A to clarify the definition of transient occupancy. Any person desiring to be heard on said petition shall be provided with the opportunity to do so at the public hearing. A copy of the petition is on file at the office of the town clerk during the regular business hours. By order of the town board, dated July 11th, 2024, Hyde Park, New York, Sarah Holman, town clerk.
May I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Hold on one second. I'm trying to,
But that was before.
yeah, but it says the public hearing will be on Monday, August 12th at 6:05 at the Roosevelt Fire Department.
Well, that's because they made a mistake.
That was before.
That's
Before it was here.
that's the notice that was published?
Correct. That was,
That's a problem.
That's a
Yeah.
problem.
That's a problem. So,
But if anyone looked at the agenda, right,
yeah,
correct.
they would see that you moved it back to town hall.
yeah,
I mean, at that time, you were scheduling your meetings.
right, we were, but it, well, we're resetting the public hearing anyway. The only thing is, the question is whether we can truly open the public hearing if the notice was, had the wrong address on there. My determination is you're probably better off not opening the public hearing, given that error. It doesn't make a difference for you guys,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't make a difference. No, there's nobody here otherwise.
You know,
to say
it
anything
probably doesn't. What we're probably going to need to do, usually you would, when you keep a hearing open, you don't renotice it, is my experience.
Right, but here we're gonna, because.
But here, we're probably going to renotice anyhow.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
It's a distinction
I
without a
agree.
difference.
I
So what we'll do is, here's what I'm going to suggest, so the record's clean. In light of the error that was discovered by Mr. Lombardi in the notice, what should happen is take a motion to vacate opening the public hearing this evening, okay, on this matter, and take a motion, take a second, vote it to vacate the public hearing in light of the issue with the motion, and then the resolution that's prepared on this will address setting the motion for September 9th.
Scheduling the hearing for September.
So let's do it. So
Yeah.
take a motion to vacate opening the public hearing.
I make a motion to vacate the public hearing notice for the August 12th at 6:05 at the Roosevelt Firehouse. I'd like to vacate that notice.
Second.
Roll call for-
My
Oh.
thanks.
Will the clerk take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine is absent. Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Pruskowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye.
Okay, now you're going to make a motion to add that to the dais.
I'd like to make a motion to add Resolution 812 to the dais, at the dais.
12. What are we calling it, 13?
13.
Yeah, we're going to call it 13.
Motion?
Hold on one second.
Okay, gotcha.
I second it
Yeah, to be held, let's go again. So just, it was duly noted, was,
because it's gonna be a new notice.
Oh.
noticed. You know what? Let's make it even easier. Take it out entirely. Just take out the paragraph.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, who's going to read it?
Who's going to read it? Will not read the whole thing, whereas number 5 is taken out in its entirety.
Yeah, paragraph 5 of the proposed resolution that was added to the dais.
6.
6, the whereas paragraph is redacted.
Let me see that thing, your sheet there, one second.
That's the one that says the public hearing.
This one. Yep, that's good.
That's good.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, while we're on this, I want to do this one now and get it over with.
Yes, read it. Who's ever going to read it?
Okay, added at the dais, Resolution 812-13 of 2024. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to make necessary referrals of the petition of amendments to the text of Hyde Park zoning law and setting a public hearing. And it says, whereas, the sixth one is omitted, and then whereas.
Okay, may I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Pruskowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Motion carried.
Was this added to the dais, though? Was this added to the dais?
Yes.
Okay,
So what we
I didn't
did-
know who made the motion. I
I'm a
didn't-
little confused. What?
John
what
made
were
the motion or
what were the
second?
changes made on to the
Paragraph
resolution?
6, if you look at the whereas and you count 6 paragraphs down,
It's open in the public hearing. which you
Open,
just
said we open there's a paragraph that said.
Got it.
I took that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we do a roll call vote on?
And then it
adding
was and then
Yes.
on number 2, the public hearing shall be scheduled for September 9th?
We're gonna set that now, right? Kyle, we're
It's
gonna
in
have
there.
to-
It's already,
It's in the resolution.
it's already in the resolution. If you go to the second page of it,
Well, it
John,
says shall be held open,
well,
the second
yeah,
page.
it's gonna be, it will be opened on
Will be
September.
scheduled, noticed and scheduled for
September
September
9th.
9th.
Correct.
That's on the next page.
Held open. It says-
Hold open.
it says held open.
Well, it hasn't been opened yet.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been opened, but it'll be opened on the September 9th meeting.
Okay.
So should it read, the revised page shall be
Opened
noticed and opened
for
on
September 9th.
9th.
You bet.
And we're gonna advertise this.
It has to be advertised, yep.
Okay, so Sarah, put that down in your note for,
Will be
please,
advertised. Yep.
to September 9th for this to be.
And does it have to go out tomorrow,
uh,
the notification?
Yeah, it should.
Okay.
Should. And make sure we have, that's gonna be at the Town of Hyde Park Town Hall. Okay.
Oh, we should. Okay.
No. Yeah, we're back. It was just an error.
So, Kyle, just to be clear, we added the resolution to number 13, the draft resolution.
That was added to the dais.
That was added?
You took a vote, right?
vote, so it's done.
We did take a vote,
Yep, and everybody voted to add it to the dais.
voted to add it to the dais.
I don't know
Okay.
I don't know who made the motion.
I did.
Motion. And second?
Don.
Okay, Liz, okay, just wanted to make
So
sure.
there you go. So that's added to the dais.
Added
And
to
to
the
be,
dais.
and to make sure that we're clear, the motion, just, that was read and just approved by the town board, has the paragraph, whereas 6 paragraph redacted, and on the second page where it says, now therefore be it resolved, number 2, the public hearing on the shall be opened.
To be-
Noticed, shall be noticed,
And open.
noticed,
And open.
and opened.
Correct.
Yeah, I just noticed.
We're not losing any time by making this
it's
correction.
good,
Yeah.
John. Thank you. That's
It's
good.
just,
Nope.
Yeah, I think
Good
it's-
housekeeping.
I think
Okay.
it's smart.
I have Barty as a motion for the content of it, and Prisakowski for a second, and then everyone voted. I know, I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Listen,
All
why
right.
we want to make
All right.
things as complicated as possible.
All right, thank you all.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, enjoy the rest of the summer.
Okay, Liz, your turn.
Resolution 812-1 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board Secretary Cynthia Whitman.
May I have a second?
Second.
Just getting nervous there. Okay, will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prisakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 812-2 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Director, Robert Pollard.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prisakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 812-3 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of part-time police assistant Elizabeth Smith.
All right, may I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prisakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 812-4 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of part-time police assistant Shayna Crowell Martinez.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prisakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
I think when we're on this topic, as you can see, there's a pattern that's going on with these police assistants or the dispatchers, we should probably take a look at what's happening. And I know that the chief said it's hard to get people to do that type of work, and I don't know,
On
but
a part-time schedule?
on a part-time schedule, so I don't know, but you see that they come and go fairly quick. Resolution 812-5 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to amend Resolution 7818 of 2024 to change the organization title of Richard Maddox from Risk Liaison to Hudson Valley Flood Resilience Liaison for the town and community.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torchiani.
Well, I'm not on there.
Oh, I've read you on there.
Motion carried. Thank you, Richard, for all your hard work. Now we're going to start working you.
Resolution 812-6 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute the CDBG agreement for the IDA program regarding the Town of Hyde Park Fall Kill Watershed Resiliency. I'm sorry? Planning.
Planning, resiliency? Okay.
Yes.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torchiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 812-7 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the request from the Culinary Institute of America to conduct a fireworks display on Monday, September 9th, 2024, in the Town of Hyde Park.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torchiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Just for the public's information, this is the welcome event that the culinary has. This is no cost to the Town of Hyde Park taxpayers. The culinary picks up the cost for the fireworks, and this is just a formality so that they can get permission and provide the proper insurance to the Town of Hyde Park. Resolution 812-8 of 2024, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a automatic temperature control preventive maintenance service agreement with Independent Temperature Control Services North for the Hyde Park Police and Court buildings.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torchiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 812-9 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint Dave Stewart to the Town of Hyde Park Veterans Affairs Committee.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torchiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 812-10 of 2024, resolution authorizing entrance onto the property located at 563 North Quaker Lane, tax ID number 6266-19-654134, within the Town of Hyde Park, to bring this property into compliance with the standards of Chapter 85-4 of the Town Code, and to assess the cost of such action against the property as a lien and charge on the same.
Yeah, may I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torchiani.
Aye, motion carried.
So that's what you guys were talking about. That's the resolution that was passed to move forward with the parcel there in dispute. Resolution 812-11 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to issue a hawkers and peddlers license to Richard Cedino of
Sedino.
Power Home Remodeling Group, LLC.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Can we have conversation on this, please?
Go ahead.
Wasn't there something, that recommendation that came through that there was a problem with this actual?
there was people that were leaving, trying to look for keys and everything, but we can't pinpoint it to someone like this.
Okay,
But we're vetting them more cautiously a little bit.
okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote.
All right. Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Trogiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 812-12, 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to set a public hearing for special permit review of the application of grounded dispensary.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Trogiani.
Aye, motion carried. Didn't wait a while for that one. Okay, do we have any old business? Old or new?
No, that was just to set the public hearing. So that was a resolution that just got passed. They passed it to set the resolution, so, excuse me, the public hearing. So the public hearing on the dispensary is September 9, 2024. And there'll be a notice, right? Will there be a
Correct.
notice?
Correct.
So you should be all set.
We just got the planning board just approved or gave them their approval the other night. That's why we put this one on the agenda to move that so they didn't lose another month through the process.
Very good.
Okay, any new and old business?
Liz?
No? We're good. Don?
Nothing, thank you.
Good. All right,
All
motion.
right, wait a minute.
He's back.
All right, so over the last 3 or 4 weeks, the highway department did a phenomenal job. They paved about 3.5 miles of road. They nicely spent about $500,000 of the taxpayers' money doing so. So Cardinal Road and a lot of the town roads got some resurfacing. The highway crew will be out on Cardinal Road in the next week or so, doing some shoulders and some more drainage work. So them guys did a beautiful job. I like to give them a round of applause because they really worked very hard to get the tonnage down and coverage the road. So Howie and the crew did a phenomenal job. In regards to the Town of Hyde Park Town Hall, as you can see that things are moving along. The offices are painted and they're getting ready to install trim, and all the employees are now packaging stuff up to move and get ready to move in their new offices and taking care of stuff like that. We did get a couple complaints that I just want to express that we're a little upset with. How do I call it? The Hyde Park neighbors' social media, which I call it the Hyde Park Complaint Department, seems to have posted some information pertaining to the town hall that it's kind of going over budget, the construction's slow, on. Just to clear the record that we are not over budget. We are right on track. Our construction schedule has been maintained and followed very closely by the supervisor. He doesn't miss a trick. We're on schedule to have everybody in on time. We are working on getting some furniture and some filing cabinets and desks and conference tables and stuff from the county, free of charge.
Received those.
Yeah, it's free of charge, so they're working with us to help furnish the project. One other important thing that I want to say is somebody mentioned that the architectural, the look of the outside of the building should have been a little more upscale. When this board and this administration came on, Al, the supervisor, went and talked to John Golden. John Golden was grateful enough to donate over $1 million towards this project. And there was one thing that the Republicans, the Democrats, everybody agreed on. What John wanted, John got. And when the supervisor, Al Torgiani, came in here, he promised John Golden that just the way that it was drawn and just the way that he wanted this building, that was what's going to get done. And we have stuck to our word. we're on track, everything's going good. So I just want to say that thanks to the supervisor and the whole gang here, that I think that in the next month or two, when this thing comes together, everybody's going to be very impressed, and thank you for all the hard work, Supervisor.
We did make the project about 35% larger, and I made several trips to John to say, this is what we're gonna do. And he says, I love it, keep going. The day we were awarded the contracts is the day John passed, so we will not forget that. And we did make major changes that weren't proposed originally, which some of them you'll see, and we're still within our budget.
That's all I got.
Motion to adjourn. Oh, go ahead.
So what's the bottom line with the 563 North Quaker Lane? What can be done with it?
I guess we're gonna have to go out there and dress it up a little bit.
Well, the resolution, I guess,
Gives us the permission to go out.
yeah. Kyle, you could elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, let me get the resolution in front of me. Which one number was it?
10, is it 10?
Number 10, I believe.
Yeah, 10.
Yep. All right. Yes, so basically, that's exactly what this resolution does pursuant to 85-4, is it now gives the town the authority to go in there, make bring it into compliance with the code, and then what happens is the cost of doing so then gets re-levied and assessed back on the property.
So can anything be done? I mean, this is going to sit there until who knows what happens. It's going to collapse or sit there and look ugly. It's been that way for almost 4 years, I guess, and people are sick of looking at it. It looks like Detroit. Nothing against Detroit, but I was in Detroit.
We could spray paint the outside, really make it look like Detroit.
I mean, it looks terrible. I mean, I live 2 doors down from it. Everybody in that neighborhood takes good care of their property. They may not be big elaborate houses, but what they have, they take care of, and they mow their lawns, and they keep the place clean, and it looks horrible. And it's obvious that the people who now own it don't care about it, because it's been like this since they bought it, and the school taxes come out, as George mentioned before, the school taxes come out in 3 weeks, and I doubt that's going to get paid. So, is there anything that the town or the county or anybody can do to kind of push them along?
Well, from a legal point of view, unfortunately, there's nothing else the town can do, other than enforce the grass maintenance law, which we're doing. Hopefully, I mean, if the taxes don't get paid, I know it's not going to fix this problem tomorrow, but it'll go up for auction, and then, it'll get traded at auction, and a new owner will come in and I'm sure fix it up and do whatever's got to get done to it to get their money back.
And the town won't get their money back.
We hope the new owner would take it.
I mean, the building has to come down. It's been that way for 2.5 years. Al, you're in the construction business, John, myself, we know that house, it can never be restored. It was a modular to begin with. It's had water leaking in on it now for almost 4 years. Who knows what the inside of it's like, so it's going to be a problem.
Let me take a look at the code. Let me take a look at the code, see if there's something else that can be done about that.
Council, look at the code, see if there's something possibly we can do more.
Let me take another look at the code. Give me another few days to take a look at the code.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the extent of this. So basically, we could have somebody go over there and cut the grass and cut everything.
Let's dress it up.
Now, I'm not talking about site visibility, I mean for appearance on the total parcel.
Yes.
They can cut the grass and the cost.
Total parcel?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, and the cost gets re-levied onto the.
okay.
Yep.
Good, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
George.
well, thank you guys for coming out. We're sorry for the inconvenience. Unfortunately, this situation is not a good situation,
Yeah, I know, it is, I know.
I'll take a look at the code.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, maybe the code
Okay.
has to condemn it.
All right, thank you.
But did we motion to adjourn?
I'm doing it right now. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion adjourned.